technically you were not safe at games, apparently. So I'm gonna stick right next to you.
Yeah.
The issue is you're working the game, right? Which means you're not gonna be able to keep me safe.
I can volleyball game, but they're not gonna know that.
Wait, is it registering our audio though?
Hello out there, my friends. It is a wonderful night here in Van Dixhorn. Lots of energy pumping through the arena. And the Trojans are going to have their hands full tonight, taking on number 13 in the NAIA, the Cougars of St. Xavier. Well, welcome inside the broadcast booth. My name is Ethan Oskroba, and this is going to be a really fun evening. A great test for these Trojans, who have shown some flashes of ability and potential, but have struggled to put it together. Well, they are going to be learning on the job tonight, and they will really be up against it. We will see how they respond. Parker Lundberg is going to set this thing off in the service effort. Back deep for the Trojans. The Trojans on the year, 0-9, 0-6 in CCAC play. St. Xavier, 8-3 on the year, 4-0 in the CCAC. And away we go. Lundberg probing the right side. Set up in front, and it's battered down. That's John Glennon, the junior Illinois native. One of several local guys on this St. X squad. Both these teams recruiting heavily from their surrounding area. Lundberg has the dig here, but it's paddled down in front. Aiden Vanegas recording in the score sheet, and a quick start for St. Xavier coming right at the Trojans here early. St. Xavier, that 8-3 record might not sound worthy of number 13, but they've already played against 4 ranked teams this season. They're 2-2 in those games. Here's Jarrett Weiler with the attack. Great dig by Anthony Figueroa. Weiler gets a paw to it, but it finds its way to the ground, so 3-0 in favor of the visitors so far. The Trojans starting off on their heels here, looking to recuperate and generate some momentum. Keegan Olig with the serve over the middle. Lundberg with the smooth dig, and there's Matthew Perry, his first kill of the night, as he flexes with the quick finish there to get the Trojans on the score sheet. Perry leads the way for the Trojans in the attacking department. That's his 41st kill of the season. Tops on the team by a wide margin. As Weiler will head to the bench, and here comes Laziah McDaniels. He was a major contributor early in the season before going down with a lower body injury. Great to see him back out there. He's limited to just 10 sets played as Lundberg gets a piece of this one. It's flagged down by Halverson and shoveled back over by McDaniels, now out in front and just wide of the line on the strike from Glennon. It's 2 in a row for Trinity, showing some resistance here. McDaniels, an explosive presence on the attack. Big physical veteran. Had 12 kills in just those 10 sets. They need to get him going again as this one sliced across and on the money. A pinpoint effort from Vanegas, his second kill of the contest. So Trinity treading water here, finding a way to stay alive as they attempt to weather the storm from this high-powered St. Xavier offense. Figueroa pushing it forward as Losinger handles that routinely off the effort from Carroll. Now Jalen Thompson pushes this one a little bit wide. Thompson has really come on strong in recent matches, having a very nice season. He was not an opening match starter, but he has been terrific for this team. He's been improving a lot as Losinger will have a go here and sizzles it past the boundary. But to touch on Thompson, for a guy who didn't start in the first match, he's now got 22 kills. That's good for second on the team as Figueroa comes up short. A much-needed score for the Trojans. 22 kills, he's got 8 blocks. That's good for second on the ball club as well. And he'll get a chance to serve here as the Trojans look to conjure up some momentum. Thompson batters it toward the back line, dug up by Kerry, one of the 2 St. Xavier liberos tonight. And now it's overcooked by Drew Ellers. So Trinity with back-to-back scores for the second time in the contest, and they find themselves down by just 2. Thompson with the high lob and sizzles it over the twine. Miscommunication for St. Xavier, and it finds its way down. Smack dab in the middle of the metaphorical Bermuda Triangle. There were 3 men who could have handled it, and all of them looking at each other. When it's all said and done, no one was able to do so. 3 in a row for Trinity. Carey's got this one. Out in front for Venegas, and he forces it through the attempted block to get St. X back in possession of the serve. So Trinity is doing what you have to do against solid teams like this. They're playing clean volleyball, taking advantage of their opponent's mistakes and hanging in there. Here's Losinger with a jump set for Halverson, who came up a little bit short. Not sure exactly what happened on the St. Xavier side of the net. Figueroa was anticipating a dive of sorts there and was nearly doing the worm on the ground there. Certainly you see something new every day in this sport. Always such a fun culture around it, so always an intriguing series of events as Venegas, with his first real miscue of the evening, comes up short there, and now Matthew Perry is set to serve. Evan Ovey back in for Trinity. The Trojans in gray, St. Xavier in the red as it's sliced wide by Perry. We've seen him experiment with a couple of different serving forms this year. This time he goes with the jump serve. He's gone flat-footed as well for extended periods of time, and he's just looking to find his rhythm. Perry, so raw as a volleyball player, but a terrific athlete, and his upside continuing to come to fruition this year. Here's a strike. Lundberg gets a finger to it, but a violation against Trinity. So St. X showing why they're top 15 in the country as they're fending off the Trojans, up 10-6. McDaniels with a good dig with the palms up. Here's Halverson on the wing, bashes it through. He was staring down Drew Ehlers. Ehlers has got 11 inches of height on him, but Halverson, completely undeterred, blasts it through. The fearless Minnesotan getting the Trojans back on the board as Losinger slices this one too far. Losinger has looked a little out of sorts here early. That's a rarity for the talented freshman who has been arguably the Trojans' most consistent presence this year. Thompson for Losinger. Here's Ovey, put some touch on it, but St. X with a good adjustment off the cheeky little play there. Lundberg for Ovey, acrobatic work just to get it back down. Now it's hammered by Glennon. So some good stuff from the Trojans on that sequence, but they're eventually outlasted by their Chicago rivals. Weiler's got the dig. Up front for Halverson, and this time he's rejected in his bid. It's Glennon and Olig combining on the stifle, and the Trojans will take a timeout. So not a bad start for Trinity here. They've showed some flashes, been impressive at times, but it's really been the bugaboo for this squad all year, has just been finding consistency. They've been unable to work themselves into a consistent rhythm so far this evening. St. Xavier tonight does not have either of their top 2 killers in the lineup, so you have to wonder if they're perhaps overlooking the Trojans a little bit. And for a team like Trinity, you've certainly got to take advantage of that personnel as best as you can. And the Trojans have certainly hung in there. They have showed no signs of fear. And we've seen a little bit of success. We've seen glimpses of it all season long. It's just about finding the consistency, stringing it together. This team just one set victory all year, but they've competed and been in it to win it several more times. So we'll see what type of effort they can post against number 13 here tonight. 13-7, the visitors on top. Over the middle for Thompson. Great effort by Losinger just to give him a chance, but I believe they're going to get Halverson for a double touch. That was great instincts by the freshman Losinger to keep that one skyward. Off the miss hit from Thompson. Now here goes another Trojan striking it. Gets over there. I believe they're going to credit the kill to Halverson, as that one had some slice to it, sort of rolled across the top of the net and found its way down. So Halverson with a couple of kills this evening, and he'll get a chance to serve. Out in front for Glennon, and Glennon has been a force so far. The middleman at 6'4", a tall physical presence out front, and he was in sync with Jason Klein there. Now Klein for Thompson. Losinger back set for Weiler. Good adjustment to keep it alive from Oleg. Oleg now putting it down. I believe that was Ovi with the great instincts to slide it on over, and it reaches the ground. Evan Ovi is fired up. A big play for number 9. Ovi was not a part of this team's plans early on, but much like Thompson, he has just continued to give it his all and play his way into more opportunity as Lundberg comes up a little bit short. The liberos swapping out again as Figueroa checks in for Carey on the St. Xavier side. 16-9 in favor of Xavier. Weiler with a nice dig on an absolute bomb of a serve. Figueroa, now Klein for Carroll. And Halverson had a good effort at that, but just too strong from Carroll. He and Glennon have been a problem for Trinity so far. Oleg to serve it. Unleashes another absolute missile, bounces off the rafters and back to the Trojan side. Perhaps a break for Trinity. And now the whistle blows in an infraction against the Trojans. St. Xavier doubling up the home squad. It is 18-9 in favor of the Cougars. Oleg continuing his service run. Lundberg with a nifty dig there. Good improvisation from the Trojans as Halverson sizzled another one. Now it's blocked out in front, but errantly so. And Venegas records another finish. It has been the trio, the triumvirate, if you will, of Venegas, Carroll, and Glennon that has been a major headache for the Trojans so far. 19-9, St. X closing in on the set victory. Can Trinity offer a resistance? There's Perry, but another double touch going against TIU. And St. Xavier is off and running. Oleg, another blast, great dig by Lundberg to suck the power out of it, and there goes Thompson. Jalen Thompson continues his strong run of play and provides a much-needed kill as McDaniels will check back in. The Trojans continuing to work McDaniels back into rhythm after he started the opening contest of the year, coming off the bench tonight, figuring in a service capacity as there goes Glennon detonating on another one. St. Xavier 4 scores away from a set 1 win. Figueroa back in to serve. The lefty pushes it on down. Now Perry slaps it over the wall. Klein setting up Venegas. It's on the line. A pinpoint strike from Venegas. And that three-headed monster continues to eat. Figueroa twirls it and slices it on down. Losinger trying to get tricky, but a good adjustment by Ehlers. And there goes Venegas one more time. Just going right at the Trojan wall. St. Xavier just taking advantage of their height and power to give the Trojans significant difficulty here. Now Perry rises up, and a little bit beyond the back line, St. Xavier has got themselves set point. The Trojans need one heck of a run here, and that's a good way to start. The serve is sliced wide, so they finally chase Oleg and get possession of the volleyball in the hands of the stellar freshman, Jalen Thompson. Thompson crushes it on down just beyond the back line, and that is gonna do it. And that's the story of this first set for the Trojans. At times close, but not sharp enough to emerge victorious. So 25-11, the first set goes the way of top-ranked St. Xavier. A good fight from the Trojans, but they were unable to retain the spark that kept them in it in the early going. Well, it's games like these where you see what a well-built program looks like, and you kind of can see the beginning of one emerging here with the Trojans. Obviously, you've got the confounding factor, the elephant in the room, that Trojan athletics will be no more after this season, and that is so unfortunate because you see what this coaching staff with Coach Luke Ward and Coach Kennedy Mang did with the women's team, going from 3 wins in Coach Ward's first season to a national title this year in a 30-win campaign. And you see the seeds of that being planted with this men's team, and you see what's going on with St. Xavier, and you say, that's not too far off for these guys to achieve. Might take time, but they've got the right people at the helm. They've got the right culture. It could very well happen. But obviously, the entire focus of this season does a 180, so to speak, with the news that we've been given. And this team just is trying to have a great time, trying to go out with some victories, give it everything they've got, and represent this institution with pride. And they've certainly done that last component. It's a team that gives it their all every time. Guys accept their role. Guys have a lot of fun playing every night. And you just want to see that hard work pay off and them get some results here at the end of the season. A little bit of housekeeping. Paul Martinez is in street clothes tonight. The Trojans tied for their second leading killer. He's got 22 on the year. Also tied for second in service aces, entering tonight and second on the team in digs. Great all-round player, really scrappy striker. And the talented freshman from Arizona is on the sidelines tonight. Big blow for Trinity, but man up, man down as they get Laziah McDaniels back in the fold, and it's good to see him contributing already tonight. A couple of nice digs and some good serves, so if these Trojans could really get healthy and firing on all cylinders, you'd love to see what this team can do. And hopefully it's not a long-term absence for Martinez. Well, there's the horn, and we are ready for action in set number 2. St. Xavier taking the opening stanza in fairly convincing fashion. It'll be Klein to start it off in service for the visitors. For the Trojans, it's Lundberg, Losinger, Halverson, Ovey, Thompson, and Weiler. For the home squad, you've once again got the lethal Glennon out there along with Klein, the impressive Venegas, Figueroa, as this one goes right through the hands of Halverson. He was caught off guard. A service ace for Klein. And an unfortunate start to the second set. Halverson, a true vet, and You want to see how he responds here. Level-headed presence. They go right back at him, and he responds with the dig. Nicely done. There's Weiler putting this in a nice place, but the diving tip from Figueroa helps keep it alive. Losinger for Thompson. Partially blocked and handled by Klein. Now out in front for Oleg, and he drops it right on the baseline. 2-0 St. X. Positive vibes on both sides here, but you definitely get the sense that St. X isn't taking this as seriously as they have a lot of their matches against ranked squads, as there goes Ovi for the kill. He continues his solid run of play as Matthew Perry checks in for Ovi. But you just hope the Trojans can take advantage of maybe a little bit of that complacency and work their way back into this competition. Flat-footed strike for Lundberg, right in the back corner. Parker Lundberg drops it on a dime, and we're even at 2 apiece. A homing missile from Parker Lundberg. Aims for the back corner again, but this time Venegas not fooled, and it's slapped down by Glennon. It's a little bit wide. 3 in a row for TIU, and they have got the advantage. Lundberg looking to harness the momentum even more so. Sliding effort by Venegas. Now on the outside, there's Oleg, too far. Here come the Trojans. 4-2 in favor of Trinity. Lundberg has kindled a spark in service. And after a tough start to this set, down 2-0, they have been on fire here of late. Now this one's saved. I believe Weiler got a foot to it, and now Thompson hoists it back down. The Trojans doing everything they can, but there goes Glennon. And it is so hard to stop the 6'4" middleman when you don't get palms and bodies in front. That is just too easy. Now you can sense the intensity starting to ratchet up. The Trojans earning some respect from the top-ranked Cougars. Oleg for Halverson. Now Losinger pitches it up. There's Thompson palming it just over the twine. Out in front for Venegas. Great effort by Halverson, but it comes right back to Zach Carroll. An unfortunate carom off a great save from Halverson, who's got a wry smile glued to his face. He knows he did just about everything he could on that. A terrific strike, and it results in the second chance score. We're even at 4 apiece. Oleg into the net. The Trojans back in possession of the lead and the volleyball here. Here comes McDaniels, rotational piece for the Trojans tonight, as he works on finding his rhythm here. First time in a long time he's been out there for the Trojans, doing a nice job. McDaniels with a great dig there, right on cue. Back to St. Xavier. This one just over the block, forced through by Oleg to tie it up once more. Figueroa, a lefty shovel. Losinger in sync to Perry. Return to center, and now out in front for Ehlers. St. Xavier peeling back ahead. 6-5 in their favor. A little bit of adversity for the Trojans. Here's Perry. Mistimed it slightly, but still well placed. Figueroa with a great dive, and now Lundberg can't quite get enough of it. Good effort from Parker. But St. Xavier trying to get some separation here. Give credit to Figueroa, who's flailing his body all over the place. Terrific range for the 5'7" junior. Now Thompson for McDaniels on the block. And they're going to say it never cleared the net. So a fourth touch against the Trojans, and timeout for TIU, who has now conceded 6 of the last 7 scores. Well, after that string of 4 straight for the Trojans, you could really feel Trinity come alive, but you also could see St. Xavier coming alive. After that stretch of 4 consecutive, Glennon recorded a kill, and you could just see a different type of mood from these Cougars as Glennon was fired up after that moment, and that was an entirely genuine emotion from the star junior. And you can really sense St. Xavier knows that they have got a match on their hands, and credit to the Trojans making them uncomfortable. Now we'll see against a fired up and motivated St. Xavier's side, how are the Trojans gonna hang in there? Figueroa will introduce it back into play, 8-5 in favor of the visitors. And again, it goes right through Halverson. And the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration from St. Xavier. Halverson has had a nice night tonight, but a couple of uncharacteristic miscues from the normally polished fifth-year man from Minnesota. There's McDaniels with the strike. Figueroa for the ever-dangerous Vanegas, and that one almost came all the way up here. An absolute missile on the attempted dig. That one had some power on it. Nice strike by the freshman, Aiden Vanegas. Losinger for Perry, sizzles it toward the back corner, too strong. Perry has got that tremendous, wiry 6'4" frame, and it makes him really dangerous, but the next step for him is figuring out the timing, because if he's able to strike at the apex of his jump, he's got a solid vertical. He is going to be able to hit at a downward angle very effectively. Great dig there by Figueroa, and now the block by Perry. And there is that 6'4" frame and some of those developing volleyball instincts coming into play in a big way there. Perry stuffing Carroll, who has had a nice night so far. Thompson will serve it. The lob, clobbered over the netting. Now another block. There's Perry and Losinger. Back-to-back stuffs for the Trinity defense. I think Losinger was the main man on that one. The versatile setter rising up for the stifle. And the Trojans once again working their way back into affairs. Dig for Carey. Soaring in is Oleg, but it's well beyond the back stripe. And once again, here come the Trojans, 3 in a row for the hometown squad. Thompson looking to keep it going. Carey's got the dig. Out front for Vanegas. Took a deflection as it went over the net. And that was enough to eat up Thompson. Great hustle by Perry and Lundberg. They came soaring in there, even though they had very little chance of making it there. But that's the culture that this team has got. It is max effort all the time. Lundberg diving dig there as that one took a tricky deflection off the twine. Now Perry gets it back over. Out in front for Ehlers. And that was clockwork for Drew Ehlers. At 6'8", he just contorted his body through the air and swatted that into the vacant back line. 13-8, St. X out in front. It's a strike from Carroll. Calmly dug up by Thompson. Now Perry, a howitzer toward the chest of Oleg, who has the answer. It climbs over the net. Trojans scrambling. Perry toward the back line, and too far. A scrappy sequence there. The Trojans got the look that they wanted, but credit to St. X outlasting Trinity on that occasion. And they've restored order here, claiming a 14-8 lead over the hometown Trojans. Timeout here for Trinity. Coach Ward burning his second and final one of the set. It's been really interesting, the coaching styles of the Trojans, and Coach Ward and Coach Mang very hands-on with this team, a team that's pretty inexperienced but has a lot of potential. And just great to see them continuing to develop this squad. It's a team that's got great camaraderie. They've come together in a really impressive way, given all the different groups that this team has pulled from. You've got athletes who have converted to this sport. You've got players that have not been college athletes in the past. You've got true volleyball players coming in, and it's been great to see this squad come together, and their continued development has also been really impressive. And as awesome as it was, the feats that the women's volleyball team achieved under Coach Ward and Coach Mang, I think this is every bit as indicative of their ability, that they've been able to congeal this squad and really galvanize them and bring them together to play some pretty solid volleyball at times and continue to grow. Here's Halverson into the block, but it's paddled wide. Too much strength from Soren Halverson, who's been pretty impressive in the attacking effort tonight. Just 5'9", fairly slender. Halverson, not one of those imposing wing players that you tend to see in the CCAC, but he is a gritty player, will go right at you, and is good at timing his strikes up, which is very important for a shorter player. You've got to hit it at the apex of your strike. Meanwhile, Mario Combs checking in and missing that serve a little bit wide. He heads back to the bench after the brief stint. Vanegas. Nice sidewinding dig by Thompson. The set is a little bit errant, but salvaged by Halverson. Banged down now by Oleg, and the Trojan block sprayed it wide. 15-9, favoring the visiting Cougars. Number 13 has come to play tonight. Got some players getting consistent action that maybe wouldn't on a typical evening, but when you're this strong and deep, it doesn't matter that much. Anyone wearing that Cougar red is going to give you a solid performance. Now Losinger pushing it toward the middle, but a great effort to keep it alive by St. X. And the finish recorded by Ehlers, the first touch, and an impressive one at that by Vanegas. Great instincts from Losinger. We've seen him record plenty of kills. He's got 18 on the year. That's 4th on the team. And we've seen him with that cheeky little push, but he's denied there. The Trojans get it back, though. Now on the miscue by Vanegas, the agony and the ecstasy in a pair of plays there from the freshman Vanegas. Now Losinger in service. Vanegas with the dig toward the wing. Thompson keeps it alive. Weiler tried to snare it. That thing was sandwiched between the net and the scorer's table, and Weiler glided all the way over and tried to pull it out of the scrap heap, but he was unable to do so. Now Thompson with the dig. Losinger, back set, Halverson, got it! Soren Halverson one more time. What an impressive night for the scrappy winger. Halverson in service now. Looking to provide a spark, and just too far, my goodness. They say it's a game of inches, but more like a game of millimeters on that occasion, as that one may have missed by a fraction of an inch just beyond the green line. The line judge was in position to make the call, and it was just too far. Now Weiler with the strike, stuffed by Oleg. And St. Xavier's height is becoming a force to be reckoned with. This is a fairly short Trojan team. You've got Perry at 6'4", who's been out there sporadically. And outside of him, not too many tall players. So definitely a challenge for the Trojans to overcome. Now here's Thompson squirting it a little wide. You just feel like this Trojan team gets some momentum and really struggles to keep it rolling. Trying to generate some gravitational pull here. Strike by Oleg is on the money. A brilliant bash from Keegan Oleg, as St. X is doing a great job not just hitting these strikes with power, but with precision, finding the weak spot in the Trojan resistance. Losinger, miscommunication, but good improvisation from Weiler, who fists it on down. Out in front for Glennon. A slight deflection, but it was not enough to perturb the shot. And 23-11 is the margin in favor of St. Xavier. They can taste a commanding 2-0 advantage. Here's Klein. Too far. Good judgment by the Trojan back line as Perry checks back in. Trinity in need of a rally here. Lundberg toward the right side. Venegas had to play it, and now Oleg shoots it too far. Another score for the Trojans. A little bit of inconsistency from the Wisconsinite sophomore Oleg. He's had some impressive plays tonight, but has struggled with some of those errors, and much of what we've seen from Matthew Perry, just hitting too hard without the right angle. Now Carroll, Losinger, great effort to keep it alive, and it's hoisted back down by Halverson. In front for Carroll, second time's a charm, as it's battered down at the feet of Lundberg. Set point for St. X. Oleg will have a chance to seal it. Sizzler from Oleg, but it won't clear the netting. Trinity has got life. 24-14 as McDaniels checks in for Weiler. And they will need him to be on his A game in service right about now. McDaniels back in the lineup, looking for something. In front there goes Carroll, sliced it wide, another score for Trinity. The third consecutive point for the Trojans. They are not ready to go down 2-0 just yet. McDaniels toward Venegas. Back to Venegas on the give and go. Lundberg comes supermaning in, and Losinger laid out, but was unable to get there as he's hoisted above the head of Matthew Perry. Not sure what that interaction was, but one way or another, St. X does claim the first two sets of this evening's competition. Well, once again, some great signs from the Trojans as they had some multiple stretches of 3 or more consecutive scores, but again, just struggling to find that consistency and struggling to, they can use momentum in a positive way, and they've demonstrated that, but they've got to bolster their ability to pause the opponent's momentum. I think this is a pretty inexperienced team that sometimes can really ride the wave out there. And you want to see them be able to reinforce themselves and find a way to relax when the opponent gains a head of steam. Quick procedural note on the St. Xavier side. Sean Carey, who we've seen factor in as the libero, rotating in and out with Anthony Figueroa, has changed his dark colored jersey for the typical St. Xavier red, so St. X is down to one true libero, and that will be Figueroa, who has been excellent tonight. He's been all over the place, a terrific defender. just finding ways to keep plays alive by extra efforts for SXU. So the Trojans looking to dig deep. They look loose and relaxed right now in the huddle. Smiles all around. You know, that's something I love about the culture of this sport as a whole. On the women's and the men's side, like, these folks compete so hard, put in so much time and effort and work, but when it's game time, they know how to have fun. They don't lose sight of the fact that sports are meant to be enjoyable, and if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? So the team camaraderie and just overall the joy that this game brings is something that's been so fun about it. And we've seen that with the women's team. We've seen that with the men's team. If you're coming to a volleyball game, you're coming for a good time, especially here at Trinity. On these squads helmed by Coach Ward, they always know how to have a lot of fun and produce a quality product on the hardwood. The Trojans, with their backs to the wall, looking to extend this contest in set number 3. Some strong attacking performances. We've seen Halverson have an excellent night. He has really come alive. But Trinity scrounging for that consistency that will take them to the next level. They have got a tall task ahead of them, and they've got to take it one set at a time. We'll see what they've got in store in set number 3 tonight. A small delay here as the St. Xavier staff conversing with one of the officials, and now Carey has got that black jersey back on, the black libero jersey, and he'll head back in. So not sure if there was some confusion with the change there, but it has been nullified. And Carey has got the all black back on, and it appears he will check in. Well, it's Lundberg to start it off in service. He is out there alongside Losinger, Halverson, Weiler, Perry, and Thompson for TIU. On your right in the gray, St. Xavier has got Carroll. It's Glennon, it's Olig, Klein, Vanegas, and Carey. For St. Xavier, to your left in those red jerseys. Here goes Lundberg toward the right side. About face, and a great set for Klein as Glennon gets another kill. Good adjustment by Klein as he was drifting forward, planted the feet, shuffled back, and provided a pinpoint feed for Glennon, who's had a terrific evening. Now Oleg. Lundberg did well just to get on that, but it drifts right to Glennon, who is off to a fast start in set number 3, invoking jubilation on the Cougar bench. It's 2-0 to the visitors. Trinity looking to dig their way into the trenches here against a difficult server in Olig. That one climbed up and over the net. Perry had a strike, but he's stuffed out in front. And that was Glennon one more time, forcing the miscue. 3-0 St. Xavier, flying at the beginning. And now this one is on the back line. Great topspin on that strike from Olig. Looked like it would slide out and almost looked like a sharp curve in baseball, just pounding its way, jackhammering its way into the earth for the 4-0 St. X advantage. And now this one catches Thompson off guard. And another of those Sioux celebrations made famous by Cristiano Ronaldo. Looks like a brace at Old Trafford, but no, it's just a couple of service aces for St. X, as finally Oleg spills it too far. The Trojans looking to find something here and they'll turn to McDaniels, who has provided an explosive presence tonight. Carey lofting it up. Venegas puts some slice on that. Not sure if it was intentional, but it works out, as he cooked that one at about a 10-degree angle. And Thompson could not quite loft it back skyward. Now Figueroa checking in. He's had a sensational evening in his own right. Losinger popping it up for Thompson. Back to the Trojans. Perry improvising as he shoves it back down. Now quick hitter in front. It's cooked wide. That was Ehlers. Did not get a clean palm to it. As he was in position, it was a great look for the Cougars, but not the strike that they were looking for. Much needed break for the Trojans. Here's Thompson toward the back line, and Carey out in front, and Ehlers will not miss on a second consecutive occasion. He pounds this one down 7-2 to St. Xavier. Carroll with the high lob and lightning strike down. Losinger for Halverson, looking to continue his outstanding evening. Great dive by Thompson to keep this one alive off the block. Now Venegas, and now going prostrate was McDaniels. Halverson a little bit short on the strike. Great scrappy resistance from the Trojans, but St. X eventually whittling them down, and it's 8-2. St. Xavier has got the advantage. And you get the sense they've just got that romping energy back. We'll see what the Trojans can do to tighten their rivals up again. Well, this is a really impressive St. Xavier team, and even more so considering that we have not seen either of their two top killers. Oscar Kryzak, the Polish native freshman, 6'9", leads the team with 138 kills. He's second in aces with 17 of those. And then you've got the fellow Polish native and freshman Jan Lopich, who leads the team in aces, is hitting nearly 300 and has got 107 kills, second on the team. Their leading assist man, Noah Randall, the talented senior from Plainfield, Illinois, has got 79% of the team's assists entering tonight. He's out of action as well, so pretty impressive stuff from St. Xavier, showing off their depth as Thompson comes flying in. But that was a well-placed lob serve from Carroll. 9-2 toward the Cougars. That lob serve, we see it more in the women's game than in the men's game. But I think it's an underrated weapon, as that one was well placed and caught Thompson off guard, as now Halverson is stonewalled out in front. It's an 8-score Cougar advantage. The Trojans trying to keep it on the rails here. Carroll over the net. Perry with a good adjustment. Back to Perry, slices it down. And Matthew Perry with another finish. A little bit out of rhythm tonight. He's been on and off of the floor, but when he's been out there, he's been an impactful player. This time blasting it toward Oleg, and it was too hot to handle. Combs back into the ball game. Sidewinder for Venegas. Back to Venegas. He's rejected. Now Carroll with a head of steam on the baseline for Zach Carroll. The sophomore, local guy, Chicago native, going to city school, St. Xavier. And it's 11-3 in favor of those Cougars. Venegas looking to keep it going. The freshman's had a nice night. Bombs that serve. And McDaniels thought it would carry too far. but it plants itself within the boundary line. Vanegas has got some power on these strikes. The 6'4" freshman, native of Rochester, New York, has come a long way to play this sport, and he records the ace here. Boy, well, we are seeing that Sioux celebration more than I think we've ever seen it from Ronaldo. Shades of his 4-goal game for Al Nassr recently. Now out in front for Ehlers, and he records the finisher. So tough to handle, the 6'8" Ehlers. The Trojans just lacking those long and powerful presences out in front. Instead, they got to rely on guys like Halverson, Martinez, as this one's bombed through the hands of Thompson, who are maybe a little undersized, but really scrappy and really setting the tone, establishing the culture for what this team wants to do. And that's what's frustrating about it, is you've got cornerstone players, you've got building block players, but unfortunately, they're not going to have time to build out of this foundation. Now, Vanegas absolutely crushed that one. Certainly would have played on a baseball field, but that's not what you're looking for in the sport of volleyball. That thing might have went outside of the basketball court that this volleyball court is on. Absolutely scalded. And now Losinger just short on the serve. Showing some frustration here as he's trying to give his Trojans a lift. Losinger has been out of sorts at times tonight, but such an outstanding player for the Trojans. So versatile, top 4 in digs, assists, kills. As it's bombed down now by Glennon, also leading the team in aces. He is just a terrific player, but just a frustrating evening on the whole for the Trojans, as St. X is starting to run away with this one. Losinger for Halverson, looking for a spark, but there's the lengthy Ehlers coming in. Ovi finds a way to keep it alive. St. X scrambling. Weiler has the dig. Jump set for Halverson. And he pulled it down into the netting. And it's just been that kind of night for the Trojans. These long possessions, the ones that have potential to swing momentum and swing the contest, they've not been getting the breaks they've needed. Thompson blasts it through. And now a tricky little play by Klein, but he was wide, trying to take a page out of Losinger's book. But he cannot record the finisher there. He had a lot of space to work with, but maddeningly just pushed it wide. Now here is Halverson toward Vanegas. Klein sliding back for it. Aiming for the back corner was Carroll, but he is too strong. A pair of consecutive scores for Trinity. In need of a monster stretch here. Dig by Carey. And now through the hands of Halverson. Lots of power on that strike from Oleg, who's starting to hit his stride here late in this one. 19-6. The visitors on top. One of the top-ranked teams, not just in the CCAC, but in the entire country at the NAIA level. And an emphatic put down by Glennon. The Trojan dig drifted right to Glennon. And that's the closest thing you see to a poster dunk in the sport of volleyball. It's every striker's dream. There goes Klein coming up a little bit short, perhaps a breath of life for Trinity. Lundberg had a nice streak of serves earlier. We'll see what he can figure out now. Glennon in front. He is a dynamo. At the net for St. X, offensively and defensively, number 4 in red has been a problem. St. Xavier with thrice the total of the Trojans, 21-7. Now too far from Oleg as he continues his impressive yet spotty evening. Substitutions for both sides as here comes McDaniels back out onto the floor. Isaiah McDaniels, the senior, a Illinois native, local guy hailing from nearby Highland Park, as he comes up shy on this effort. He's been impressive tonight in his return to the floor. Some good digs, a couple solid attacks, and effective in service up until this moment. Now here's Figueroa. Glides it on down. Halverson with some topspin on it. Miscommunication, but never mind. Scratch that, because Zach Carroll is on the spot. And St. Xavier is closing in on their 5th consecutive CCAC win to start the year. Figueroa for Lundberg. Twirling effort by Losinger, but it was answered by Olig. And now the finish for Venegas, and it is match point for St. Xavier. Their bench coming alive. Figueroa, who's been a key cog all evening, looking to finish it. Losinger for Perry, rises up for the strike. Handled. Figueroa trying to get tricky with it, but the double touch against him, and Losinger's impressive little pitch shot has sort of been the forbidden fruit for St. Xavier tonight. We've seen a couple of their players attempt it, and neither has been able to pull it off successfully. Klein coming up wide despite a lot of room to work with. And then the double touch violation against Figueroa. Now here's Thompson, blasted toward the back line. Carey. And there goes Carroll once again. Now this one's signed, sealed, and delivered, folks. St. Xavier showing why they're number 13 in the nation. An impressive performance tonight for the visiting Cougars. The Trojans, again, showing signs of promise, but coming up short in their bid to pull off a seismic upset tonight. The Trojans fall to 0-10 on the season. They are 0-7 in CCAC play. St. X improving to 9-3, including 5-0 in the conference, and they will only continue to bolster their claim to be ranked among the NAIA's elite. Well, that's going to do it for our coverage here from Van Dixhorn tonight. For myself, Ethan Oskroba, and for all these great Trojan student athletics workers, and all of us here at Trinity, wishing you a great evening. So long from Van Dixhorn Arena.